It says, it is the Spirit who gives life. Think about that. It is the Spirit who gives life. Now, when you play, do you get into the spirit of it, or do you just stand there and play and hope that God, when he's not doing anything else, will put his hand on the and you will suddenly play like James Galway? Well, it doesn't work like that. You have to get into the spirit of things. I mean, how many times when you were a young kid and you had to do something and your parents said, you'll be okay, once you get in the spirit of it, you'll enjoy it. But getting into the Spirit is what we have to do. And I just was reading this, and I happened to realize that it actually relates to what we do. If you don't get in the spirit of what you're doing, playing, nothing is going to happen. And it doesn't matter how good your staccato is, or how good your vibrato is, or how good all these technical blocks are. If you're not in the spirit, there will be no life in the music. Now, having said that, I'm going to show you how to do this, because I know that there's a lot of people who have problems with this because they generally try to play music which is spiritually too advanced. Which is spiritually too advanced. You know, you get a 15-year-old kid who's going to play the Nielsen concerto now, right? I think he may be able to play the notes, but this piece is too advanced for him to play. Believe me, I've played it 5 times this year already, and I know what I'm talking about when it comes to the Nielsen flute concerto. Now, generally speaking, I find that people do play things which are too advanced because they always want to get ahead of the race. They want to be in there and win and be the first and all that sort of stuff. But to be the first of what? Look at all the people we have winning competitions of being the first of this and the first of that. And what happens to them? Nothing. Because they're not in the spirit and they do not engage the spirit of the people they're playing to. Now, I'm sure you've all played long tones, right? You know how that goes. Up there already, the thought of that, the spirit is dead before you go. But you see, this doesn't apply to everybody, but singers do it better because they get in the spirit. They practice the spirit. You know what I mean? A singer, when they practice their so-called long tones, they will go da 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 and so suddenly they're going you see, when they produce this spirit. Whereas what do? We just play 2 notes and say, it's okay, right, next. But of course, you know, it does take a bit of time and a bit of organization to get in the spirit of things. And that's what I'm going to show you today, all the way through this whole entire class. We will always stop and ask, what are you doing? Are you projecting the spirit, or are you just playing loud? You know, we've got to really deal with this, because it is going to change the way we play the flute. It's going to change the way the flute is played in America, because I believe in America you have really very, very talented kids, but somehow or other nothing happens to them. They don't take off. Whereas in Europe there's a whole bunch of other kids over there, and they're making CDs and they're doing relatively big concerts, I tell you. And we should be doing that here.